Alright everyone, if you've been following along with the channel, you've seen some of my earlier sweet potato science experiment videos. Well, today I have another update. So there's some good news and some bad news. I'll start off with the bad news. So one of my sweet potatoes, this one had not started to produce any slips, and I forgot to change the water during one of the, change the water every 2 or 3 days. Well, on one of those days I forgot to change this one. So the next time I noticed it had turned brown. Not quite this brown at that point, I brought it outside after that and it's gotten worse. But the water turned brown, and as you can see it's kind of mushy. So I'm taking it that this one's not going to produce any slips for us. You can see it's just got a couple roots and there's no shoots started coming out of it. So I'm going to compost this one. Another one of the ones that I had suspended in the water is this one. I decided just to give up on this one. You see it had one slip just barely started. It also only had one root coming out the bottom. I guess that root fell off after I brought it outside. So this is another one I'm just going to give up on, compost this one. However, inside the two remaining sweet potatoes, between them have probably between 15 and 20 slips growing off of them. So, you know, I'm still pretty happy with that. That's between those 4 slips that I grew suspended in water, 2 of them produced, 2 didn't. But I should have over 20 slips off of those 2 potatoes. And then there's these ones. These are 2 of the ones that I was growing in the soil. I just had them in a plastic container with a couple inches of soil on them. And these ones really took off. They're between 6 and I have looks like 4 slips on this one and 2 on this one that are between 6 and 9 inches tall each, and that's about where you want them to be when you plant them. As you can see, we've got roots coming out the bottom. We also have roots coming out of the slips themselves. So when I break these off, I'm going to try to salvage as many roots as possible with them. Now, before I dug these out of the soil today, I actually thought that this was all coming off of one sweet potato. So I was kind of surprised to realize that it was 2 different sweet potatoes. That's a good thing. That means, you know, these are 2 different varieties of sweet potatoes. There'll be a bigger variety for us to have. This one, I actually had to, it was originally half of a sweet potato. And then when I had the one Hannah sweet potato in there, started molding, and the mold spread to part of this one, so I had to cut that part off. And I didn't expect to get anything out of it, this little chunk that was left, but I figured I'd stick it back in and see what happened. And this is what happened. I have 4 slips that are 6 inches or greater on here. I've got another one over here that just started. So, and what I'm going to try to do is break a few of these off, keep as many of the roots as I can. I'm going to try to keep this one undisturbed, and then just stick it in some water and just see what happens with that. When I was digging them up today, I started to dig them up to get prepped for the video. And then I noticed that the leaves on them started to wilt, so I figured I better just get them out of there completely and get them in some water. And the leaves did come back pretty well. And you're supposed to plant them in the evening, so that's why I waited till late in the day for this. I'm going to plant them and water them real good. They shouldn't need too much water throughout the season. 1 to 2 inches a week should do it for them, because they are more like tropical plants, and I guess they're hardier for warmer and drier conditions. So I guess I might as well just do this on video. It's my first time doing any of the sweet potato stuff, so let's see. Yeah, just snap that off. And I think I'm just actually going to leave this one. Just leave it in the water, I guess, and because this one isn't really tall enough to plant on its own. So I'll stick that in the cold frame and see how that does. Yeah. Leave that in some water for now. Okay, this one. Can't lie, I'm a little bit nervous about this. I really like my sweet potatoes. I really want these to do well. And I want to leave as much of the root structure intact as I can. Now, one thing you can do, you can just break them off and not really worry about the root structure, and then stick them in some water for a couple days, and they'll start to grow roots at that point. And then you can plant them in the soil, but I'd like to just get them in the ground tonight. Okay, I think I'm going to try for this one on the bottom first. I'm going to try to get it untangled a little bit more. Okay, well, here goes nothing. There's one. There's another one. And I'll just put these down and try to get them untangled, and we'll go from there. Okay, so I've got 4 slips that I managed to get disentangled here. And then I've got these 2 sweet potato bins. See, this one, it's out of the tote, and then this wooden one that I made. Now, for these ones I'm going to put in today, I'm going to use the tote, because, well, this soil's been in here longer, and with it being a plastic tote, the soil should be nice and warm for these sweet potatoes. So, what I'm going to do is make 4 nice deep holes in the soil in here, and then I'm going to bury these slips. So you can see they've got roots kind of going up the stem here. So I'm going to bury it so all these roots are underground all the way up to really where this leaf is coming out. Basically, you want to bury these just so just the top leaves are above ground. Okay, so this is going to be kind of tricky to show one-handed here, but see a little hole that I made there? Just going to see if I can make it a little bit deeper now. Okay, so I'm digging a much bigger hole than I anticipated here, and I'll just fill back in around it. Try to get those roots in there, and then let's see, just fill back in around it, and just something like that. And then I'm going to have to put the iPad down and get this dressed up nice, and then I'll show you the finished product. Alright, and here's the finished product. 4 sweet potato slips planted. So, I have high hopes for these. I do love my sweet potatoes. We'll see how they end up doing. Not really sure what to expect from them. I know they're a real viney plant, so maybe they'll end up growing up the chicken wire here. But I'll make sure to keep you posted on how they progress. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching. Bonus content for those of you who have made it this far. So with these are the sweet potatoes I got the slips I just planted off of. And as you can see, I left these couple slips on here just to see what they would do. This little guy came off when I was taking one of those bigger ones off. So I'm just going to leave all of these in this water here and leave these in the cold frame and see what happens with them. Don't really have high hopes for this just little one leaf guy there, but I am hoping that this guy, and this guy, and this guy get bigger, and maybe we'll even get some new slips out of these. So we'll see how that goes. Check back for updates.